Buddy, my name is Barbaro. Work here at Gino's Trattoria in Manhattan. Doing a nice dish that we do in the summertime, even though we're in the middle of winter. I figure I might as well spice things up and make it feel a little bit better. We make a dish here called rosemary grilled shrimp and sour orange mojo. Actually, this is my brother Mark's recipe. He pulled it out. We've been making it for about a year now. Pretty simple ingredients we got here. We have a cup of orange juice. We have some nice fresh cilantro chopped. I have a nice juice of 1 lime, about a tablespoon and a half of fresh garlic, half of an onion. This is my favorite right here. I got a little bit of butter. We can always omit this for you people who don't like fat. I'll show you what's really nice about the butter in this recipe. And I have about 5 or 6 shrimps. You can use as many as you want, but this is what we give a portion. Our little secret we have here is we like to use rosemary sprigs. See this little branch of rosemary? Peel it off, take all the sprigs off, I cut it up, and then what I like to do is I like to put it on the shrimp itself. In parts of shrimp, but it's a great flavor. What I would do with these shrimp is, before I cook them, maybe half an hour before I cook them, I would marinate them with a little bit of oil, extra virgin olive oil. I'd put a little bit of, maybe a touch of lemon or lime in there, and I definitely put these cilantro in there, just to let it sit there and marinate really well. Then I throw it on the grill. I have the shrimp already cooked here. This is what the shrimp look like. This is how we serve them here. Summertime, if you want, you can throw some nice grilled vegetables on the plate also. But as you can see here, shrimp look really nice. Take about 3 or 4 minutes to cook. It's a quick summer dish. You have a grill on at home. That's why I like to make this in the summertime. What we'll do, we'll start making the recipe here. I have maybe about a tablespoon and a half of virgin olive oil. I'm going to heat it up. I don't want to get it too hot. What I'm going to do with this is I'm going to throw the onions in first. Wilt the onions a little bit. Let the onions get a little bit caramelized. And then after that, we're going to throw in the garlic. Once we throw in the garlic, we're going to let the garlic cook. Take on the onions. Let them wilt a little bit. We like the onions to cook first because if you throw in the garlic first, garlic is going to burn and the onions are still going to be raw. Onions in this recipe are great also because they have a nice natural sweetness to it, so they let out that natural sweetness in this recipe. Next, we're going to throw our garlic in. We want the garlic just to brown a little bit. You don't want the garlic to be raw, because if raw, it's going to be a terrible flavor. And if you burn the garlic, well, there goes the recipe. See how nice the caramelized onions are getting? What we like to do next, once we got this nice and brown, we like to add a touch of white wine just to deglaze the pan. So let that render itself, we'll cook off the alcohol in the wine and we'll let it cook down a little bit. Then we'll add our orange juice. Put a little extra orange juice in there for you. Let it really cook down. We're going to throw our juice of the lime in there. Now what's great about this recipe is you have the sweetness of the orange juice, and you have the sweetness throw some cilantro in there. You have the sweetness of the orange juice, and you have the sweetness of the onion in there. Now we're going to impart it with a little bit of tartness from the lime, which is great. It balances all the flavors. And at the very end, when I like to swig in that butter gives it a nice natural sheen. It'll really round the flavor out. And as we will be doing, we'll be throwing our shrimp on the grill right about now. This is going to take maybe another minute to cook. We can also add a little bit of salt to this recipe. We like to add a touch of salt here. We like to undersalt everything. What I'm going to do is I'm going to throw a little bit of white pepper in here also. I'm going to let this keep cooking. As you can see, it's got a great color to it. What we'd like to do here also is if you have some nice fresh summer tomatoes, you can chop some tomatoes up, make a nice concassate tomatoes, throw them right on the plate, and it'll be a beautiful color to it. So right now you have that nice green in here. Cilantro is very important in this recipe. I would try to use the freshest cilantro that I can get. That's why it's a nice summer dish. And as you can see, it's getting thicker and thicker. You want this really to cook down really nicely. It's going to get really sweet from the orange juice cooking down. Now, as the last step, what I'll do is I'll show you Once this is all cooked down, I would render this a little bit more, but just for time's sake, you'll cook this down. Once it's cooked down, maybe another 20 seconds, you throw in your butter and you swig it in nice and slowly. The reason why we like to put the butter in at the very end after it's cooked is we don't like the butter to separate. When the butter is swigged in nice and slowly like this, the butter will not separate. It'll just melt itself in there. You won't lose it. Now let me show you how it looks on the plate. It looks really nice on the plate. What we do is we just layer a little bit right on our shrimps, and you can smell it. Nice subtle smell of oranges. You got the cilantro going, and that's all you need. Like I said, you throw in a few little tomatoes chopped in there. You got the red going on, and this is the recipe that we have. It's called rosemary grilled shrimp and a sour orange mojo.